This is just a clarification though. I do not, say or, have to tell you that you have to use indicators. They are not required for you to be trading ICT concepts or smart money concepts. They are just, optimized basically. They're not, a get in, get out tool. They can be for you, but he doesn't recommend that, and I wouldn't recommend that either. I'd rather you mark out certain levels and just let them pan out and have your own, directional premise as to where the market wants to go and which levels are going to get respected. Basically, I use these just to optimize certain areas and certain confluences like the weekly opening. Alright guys, so in today's video we are going to be going over which indicators I use, and pretty much that is going to be the video. Best indicators for ICT concepts or smart money concepts, and which ones I would recommend for you to use, and the ones that I use. So yeah, I usually trade with two charts. So if y'all have been watching the documentary series or just the live trading, you can see I usually have this one on the daily, weekly, and monthly. And I usually, majority of the time, I don't even have an indicator on this chart. I like to keep this chart very clean because I don't even drop lower than the daily, and I just like using the higher time frame on this one, and it is a little smaller. But this one I do have two indicators. I have the ICT everything, and this is pretty much what I have for the indicator. I'm just going through it for y'all. Vertical lines, I have it dotted for midnight and midnight opening price line, solid, and then the weekly opening, of course, and then I don't have anything else. I would have the day of the week, but it kind of gets clustered, and I don't usually like having that. And then current week sessions only, today's session only, midnight historical price lines. So, and then I have ICT kill zones and pivots. Visibility, it's all the way, I don't see this on the hourly, only in the minutes and the seconds, and I have all that filled up. Session drawing limit 3, 5 minute time frame and below, basically. GMT 4, New York time, that's kind of what I use. I even have it on my chart, New York time only. Label size small, and drawing cutoff time, I took it off. Show kill zone boxes and display text, and 90, 93. And I basically put the opacity to 0 for these, mainly because if you have it on, it usually shows the line for, let me show you real quick. It shows you, it shows a line. So right now it's currently AM session, and if I draw this right here, boom, shows a little line that I don't usually like having right there, this little line. I'd rather just not have it at all, if I'm being completely honest. And yeah, kind of the reason why. And then I don't have anything else on this time frame. But yeah, I do have more visibility on this one. Is only for the hours and the minutes again. This is pretty much the chart. So on this chart I usually like using the 4 hour and below, so like the hourly time frames and the minutes, and I usually like intraday trading on this chart because that's kind of my reason why I like scaling up and scaling down. So these are some of the best indicators out there right now. AgFX, AGFX, watermark. Basically you can write down your name, some things. I used to have like my strategy on here. I would write it down right here, and then I'll be like, what is order flow, or put what is the next draw on liquidity. They just like to remind themselves whenever they enter the chart, but I took it off because it kind of clusters my chart, and I don't need to have that. I already have my 3-day trading models on my wall, and I have it on a piece of paper. Next will be FX market session. FX market sessions will draw the sessions for you, but you are going to have so for FX sessions you're going to have to put your time zone, I guess, and then history. So like if you only want to have it on like 4 sessions, 2 sessions, 2 days, basically the past 2 days, you can do London, New York, and then so Tokyo session. For Tokyo I would do at least like till London session starts. So like it usually is 18 o'clock to, this is New York time, 18 o'clock to 2 a.m. New York session is usually 8 to 16 o'clock, and then London session will usually be 3 or 2 to 7 o'clock. Let's put it right there. Boom. So London close is within New York time, around New York lunch. But if you do want to have this time frame like this, then it's perfectly fine. I would recommend ICT kill zone. So but if you do want to have the market sessions overall, then you can use that. This one I feel like it is a lot more better because it shows you like New York lunch, the London session, Asia session, the PM session. It shows you everything, and it really is a lot better in my opinion. So right now it's kind of lunchtime. So yeah, and then the next indicator is higher time frame power 3. This one is very useful if you are trading with the one chart and you can't get the second chart. So higher time frame power 3 shows you a big candlestick. So it shows you a big candlestick, and it shows you like the power range, and like the prices or the ticks, this range right here, and how much the candle has left to open. So you can use midnight opening. It can be offset. You can put it like to 2, and you can basically, it is very useful in my opinion. It shows you like a whole candle time frame. It can be the 1 day, it can be the 1 week. It can show you like the 1 week chart. or candlestick, what's happening right now, or the monthly chart, the monthly candle, what's happening where you are. But a lot of people use it on the daily time frame. But yeah, pretty much this one is very useful. The daily time frame, it is, you look at the daily time frame right here, you can see it perfectly right here. It is basically bearish. If you aren't trading with two charts and you only want to use one, this one can be very powerful. The wrong one. This one can be very powerful. It can show you basically the daily candle with price action within the intraday chart if you are trading intraday. So this one is very useful in my opinion. The next one would be ICT Concepts Lux Algo. Basically this one is, just showing you everything like the market structure, sell side liquidity, buy side liquidity, market structure shift, fair value gap, fair value gap, fair value gap, and then the fair value gap, negative order block. But I wouldn't recommend this one if I'm being completely honest. I would rather you draw the confluences on your chart, and eventually you're gonna get way better at drawing them, and those just mark it out for the certain time frame. So I wouldn't recommend this. See, like if you're on the 1 minute time frame, you look at this right here, you think this fair value gap's gonna hold, and you buy right there. Next thing you know, it just goes in the opposite. Confluences, you keep scaling back up and forth in multi-time frame analysis, and you keep seeing like where you want price to be. I would recommend the dealing range right here, and basically it is better to draw the confluences yourself. I wouldn't, if you don't have any context either, it doesn't give you any context why price is doing that, so I wouldn't recommend using that indicator. I would rather you draw the confluences on the chart with the intended direction or the directional premise as to why price is going in that direction, instead of just letting that indicator do it for you. So the next one will be ICT Everything. This is kind of one I recommend. So if you go to the hourly chart, I have vertical lines on midnight opening. Main reason why is because if you go to the daily chart let me just show you here. So on ICT talks about this, he says that price resets at midnight. So that's kind of why I have the vertical lines at midnight. I believe this is the true daily candle, but if you go here and you go to session breaks, it shows you that this is the daily candle right here within this range instead of the midnight opening, which I just don't like using sessions. I prefer the midnight because that's where the true daily candle forms, is during midnight. So it can get very confusing because in session breaks, look at that, they go on forever in the chart, and I don't like that. I prefer like just the weekly range. That's kind of why I have it, and your chart can get very cluttered up. And yeah, I only like having the weekly, the last 4 days basically, or like the last couple days. I usually don't like trading there on Monday, because overall this indicator is very useful. You can use, I do have the midnight opening right here, and then I have the weekly opening, and it shows it on the hourly charts, except for if you go to the 2 hour and above, basically the midnight opening won't show, only on the hourly and below, but the weekly opening will show. If you go to like the 4 hour, if you go to like the 2 hour, and the anything below that, and the vertical lines will show. And like I said, I prefer the midnight opening price to be the new day instead of the GMT time, like MetaTrader. And yeah, that's pretty much the reason why I have this indicator. Is very useful. Another indicator can be the ICT look back. So if you go to like the daily chart, it will show you basically the 20, 40, 60 day look back period. This one is very important. If you study the core content month, ICT always talks about the look back period and where the next strong liquidity will be within this look back period. So like the external ranges, and these could be internal versus the external. So this could be your external on the 60, this could be your internal on the 40 and 20 right here, these lows, and you can basically wait for those lows to get tapped and then eventually go higher. So this indicator can be very powerful if you are using it on the higher time frame. If you go to like the lower time frames, it won't show. This one is mainly for higher time frame. If you are like a swing trader or a position trader, then this one will be very powerful for you. So the next one is ICT pivots and kill zone. I already showed you this, but the next one is ICT kill zones. ICT kill zones is basically the kill zone of basically for forex. If you are trading indices, you can use this one, but I would recommend the other one, the ICT pivots and kill zones. That one is a lot better for indices. But for if you're trading forex and you want to use the kill zones, these are very useful and very powerful, since kill zones are usually time of day theory, and like probably the best one for forex. If you are trading forex, ICT kill zones are very useful. Like 7 to 9 or 8 to 9 or 8 to 10 o'clock for New York session or for London close. Usually, during these time windows, forex will move really, really quickly. You can see that during these time frames, it's just accumulating or expanding. But whenever the kill zone opens, price usually moves in the intended direction, or at a more quick speed. So that's kind of why this one is very powerful. But I do recommend ICT kill zone and pivots again. I just prefer it is basically, this one is a lot more before equities open. The kill zones, you can have a Judah swing, and that kind of will take you out the trade if you aren't in the right direction. So you need to watch out for that. 9:30 opening, equities open, usually likes to make a Judah swing and then goes in the intended direction that it was trying to go in the before the market or the equities open. So yeah, next one will be ICT macros. ICT macros are very powerful. These are very, very powerful. If you don't want to have those lines on, you can by all means, but I don't usually like having my chart cluttered up with too much stuff. So ICT macros are basically little time windows or pockets that time will sort of seek liquidity and move at a quick speed. So that's kind of why these macros, he usually trades their macros and he uses them. These are very powerful if you want to use them. I don't have it on my chart because I already have it written down on a piece of paper, and I remind myself what time the macros are usually happening. So yeah. But if you want to have this, you can have it for AM session, or you can have it for London session. There is no Asia session, or usually just New York session and London session that these macros are available for. So yeah, it can be very powerful. Time pockets, you can see how during these certain times price will move pretty quickly, but these won't give you a direction as to where price is going, because price can chop back around inside this range like you see, and it gives you no intended direction, but it gives you a little pocket of window where price will seek some liquidity or to rebalance in an imbalance. So yeah, the next one will be ICT new day opening gap or new week opening gap from Lux Algo. Again, Lux Algo is probably he's ahead of the game, if I'm being real. So you can have the new week opening gap, the amount, you can have it to like the previous one, the most recent new week opening gap. You can have it, you can see where price is, the price reacted to it and it went higher, and it just respected the new week opening gap really well. The reason I don't have the new week opening gap is because if I go to ICT everything, I can see the weekly opening. I just like using the weekly opening instead of the new week opening gap. You can use this as a confluence as to where price wants to go, and created the low on Tuesday like he talks about. The weekly profile, you need to have these in the back of your mind, and it will create the high Thursday, unless tomorrow during news it creates a higher high. But again, you can use the new day opening gap instead of the new week opening gap if you want to, and this can give you a lot more confluence during some days. The new day opening gap will provide a lot of context for you, like right here, boom, new day opening gap came, and London session it rated it and then eventually dropped lower. New day opening gap right here, it came, and then eventually it showed that price wants to go higher and never rebalance. The new day opening gap can be very powerful with the new week opening gap, but you can only have one at a time. If you want to add the indicator twice, of course you can, and you can have both of them. And again, you see like more new week opening gaps, price is inside this range, it doesn't want to come out of it, and you can use this as confluence to see if you're consolidating, because if you have multiple new week opening gaps stacked together, that basically tells you that price is consolidating inside that certain range, and the weekly candles don't want to leave that range basically. So yeah, then the next one is sessions Lux Algo. Again, it's like the forex market sessions. I mean, completely honest, it just shows you, and it draws the lines, the session breaks, which I don't like, if I'm being completely honest, but it shows you Tokyo, Sydney, London, and New York, and that's kind of why I like it right there. I used to use volume weighted average price, but I don't use this. I probably won't ever use this, but if you do, you should be trading price action alone. Like he said, it is going to take you a while to learn, but when you learn it, it is worth it. So that is basically all the indicators I have, and basically the most useful indicators out there right now for ICT concepts or smart money concepts. If I missed any, leave it in the comments below, but if you did enjoy, make sure you drop a like.